Looking at your watch, looking down at your calendars, you realize it's a little bit early for that time of the month. And as we all know, a disaster can come early, but this time around, I think we don't have a disaster on our hands. Where last month, we just came into so many problems that it was just frustrating while we're doing the parts hunt. However, this month around, we got no problems, nothing in the way. There's no crazy rain as well with the weather. At least I hope there's not now, but we've got a deal lined up from here in, and that is the first deal of the month, where it's an X99 whole PC, and they wanted 250 Aussie dollars. And I said, well, look, would you take 200 pickup? And they said, absolutely. And this is Australian dollars, by the way. I'll put the USD pricing, as always, with the offers that I'm putting in Aussie, so you guys in the rest of the world can get an idea of the prices that I'm offering and paying for some of these deals. But this one looks really interesting because it's pretty much the whole shindig. Clean it up, add a GPU, and that is some pretty easy profit. And since it's down near Les and also my recycling center guy, I'm gonna give them a call and see if I can pop through theirs on the way, pick up some other deals. But then also later in the day, I've got a Ryzen 7 PC that we're gonna pick up, and also an RTX 5070 too. So this time around, I'm getting the deals. There is no missing out on deals, and we'll see what this X99 PC has inside right after today's video sponsor.
Do you need to get Windows activated and don't want to spend stupid amounts of money on a key? Well, if that's you, then today's video sponsor, SCD Keys, has you covered. For as little as $21 for Windows 11 Pro or $13 for Windows 10 Enterprise, you can get activated instantly. And also, don't forget to use the coupon code BFTYC for a big juicy discount. Links in the description below.
So we just picked up this X99 PC. It's in one of those old school fractal design silent cases. They're pretty heavy, so that's a cool thing. And they also showed us it up and running too in the BIOS, which for X99, the front end side, that's really all I really need to see because I'm not really buying this deal for a graphics card. Anyhow, time is of the essence. We're gonna keep moving because there's actually another couple of deals, and we gotta quickly, because we're up in Brisbane at the moment, it's like about probably 50-minute drive from where I am, have to quickly go see the two staples. And we just pulled out of Les's place, and it was probably one of the lowest in terms of stock levels for what the tech yes man is after. And in that, I mean, he really only had some cheap 4GB sticks of RAM, which we ended up getting actually 9 sticks for 20 Aussie dollars. Because 4GB DDR4 sticks are just like, no one really wants them, I had a good idea in the back of my mind, and that was to put 8 of them in an X99 board, and then we'd get 32GB of RAM on a budget, especially considering DDR4 and DDR5 prices are just going through the roof. Like DDR4, as we sort of said in that video that we did a little bit ago, I'll put the link up here, I had a feeling that DDR4 just like will follow the trend of DDR5 prices. So picking up these cheap sticks and then utilizing them, I think is a good avenue to try and extract value. And then for the last deal that we got from Les, he did say, look, it's a happy birthday present. It was my birthday recently. I said to him, I'm actually looking at trying to test like graphics cards on the road. And he said this 11th gen laptop should be perfect for that if you plug the GPU extension dock into it, because you're then got the screen, the keyboard, and the mouse, and then put the dock in that. And you're gonna have like a minimalist setup in the boot. It's gonna be very compact. So got that laptop for just that sole purpose of doing that, and at 180 Aussie dollars, it's like 11th gen i5. It's only really going to do one purpose, and that's connect a GPU dock and run Firmark, and hopefully that will just end up working perfectly. But of course, got to get it home and test the GPU dock on it to make sure it does work. But 11th gen, I'm pretty sure had like pretty good updates and all that stuff. But anyhow, right now we've got to make a bit of a haste rush here to the recycling center, catch him before lunchtime, because if we don't, then he can close down sometimes, and it depends. You just got to sort of always adhere to the requested times when it comes to really good deals too. Anyhow, let's go hit the road, get those deals, and see what exactly the deals are. So we now just ended up finishing up at the recycling center, and we got some insane deals that especially makes that earlier X99 deal look not so good, right? So we got two Asus motherboards on X99 with CPUs in them, and they were $25 each. And then I got an i5 11500 for $60 Aussie. And after that, there was also two 4TB drives. And I just said to the guy, look, chuck them in. And also on top of that, there was a 1TB M.2 and some DDR4 sticks of memory. So just said chuck it all in for 200 Aussie dollars in total. However, there's a lot of bugs out here. I'm just in some random park and got to get a move on because now we have to pick up a deal for, it's a PC, a Ryzen 7 5700X, 32 gig of RAM, power supply, case, the whole thing except the drives and a graphics card, I believe. And they said, look, how much do you want to offer for this? And I said 300 Aussie. That seems about right. And they just said that's a fair offer. So come and get it. And they said they can maybe chuck in a Ryzen 5 3600 or something like that. Anyway, let's go check it out. And they're working at a bike store. They said they got the parts there. So we're just going to drop in and, yeah, try and get this next deal. So we've now just picked up the Ryzen 7 5700X motherboard, cooler on top, 32 gigabytes of DDR4 memory in this pretty nice Cooler Master case. So we're gonna just clean this up, and I thought it had a power supply, but it doesn't have a power supply, so we're just gonna add our own power supply in our own graphics card and our own storage. Then we'll have a complete build, which is actually pretty good anyway. But yeah, 300 Aussie dollars, not a bad deal. Not the best deal, but still pretty good considering, again, those RAM prices are pretty expensive. And we got a full kit here. And we add on like 300 in parts. Then we got like close to 1K flip pretty much. But anyhow, this time around, I'm really early to the game. Like it's pretty much just after lunchtime, and it's one of my healthiest parts hunts ever. I don't think I've ever been this early, got all the deals done. I'm close to home. I got to pick up another deal soon, but I'm going to go eat right now, and then we're going to go get this next deal, which is an RTX 5070 for 650 Aussie dollars. Now, RTX 5070s have come down in price, but this is a great thing. They've come down in price on the used market and the new market, and this is going to make it a really cool deal because I need GPUs, especially on the higher end side, or like at least mid-range plus, because I really am running out. I've got like a few 3060s and sort of that class GPUs still, but I need some of these sort of like better, newer GPUs on those bigger flips. So yeah, let's go eat and then go get this last deal and then go see if everything works and then go check for more deals. And now we are back at the new Tech Yes studio, and we have finished testing every single product that we've picked up today, and everything is working absolutely fine, except this last deal that we got right here was actually an RTX 4070. My dyslexia is just playing up hardcore with this deal. I thought it was a 5070, and then when I went to pick it up, the guy's like, it's a 4070, man. It's a 4070 in the ad. And I'm like, oh, my bad. And then I said to him, like, can you take just $50 off? Because I thought it was 5070. He's like, yeah, that's cool. So we ended up getting a 4070, which is in really good nick. The temperatures are also really good. So he hasn't used it that much. So he was like, I mean, pretty much selling a card he hasn't used much because he said he upgraded to a 5080. And he doesn't game a whole lot in his spare time, but when he does, he wants max FPS. But we ended up, I think, getting a pretty good deal, even with this being 600 Aussie dollars. And of course, I need these cards. I would have liked a 5070 for 50 extra bucks. I think it's a better deal. Like it just looks better, especially when you're going for a flip. But either way, that was my bad, so I've got to wear that one. But in terms of these parts right here, this RAM jam, the 4 gigabyte sticks, in a 32 gig config, that is like a meta that I'm going to be exploring, because this whole combo right here is 45 Aussie dollars, which is insane, right? 6 cores, 12 threads, i7, 32 gig of RAM, and then a X99 motherboard. We're just going to throw a cooler on top, and then you add a graphics card, case, power supply, all that stuff. But you got an extremely cheap budget gaming PC that will just flip really easily. But one thing about these workstation boards here, they are like some of the best X99 boards you can get. I mean, just have a look at those capacitors right there. They're just incredible looking. This board is actually very schmexy, and I'm absolutely digging the look of it. It's really cool. Probably one of the best motherboard designs I've seen. Just incredibly clean, and it also has a lot of weight and the PCB layers to boot. Then beside that is a cheaper X99 board, but absolutely working fine. So that's great. Booted that up. And I mean, these are easily, guys, before I even do a tally and before I look for any other deals, easily my best deal of the month here, right here, what you're looking at. There's 2 X99 boards. No questions asked. This is my favorite deal of the month, and I think it's going to be a lot of other people's favorite deal of the month here. Anyhow, going through these PCs, this one ended up being, man, I swear, I got to check the messages. I swear he said a Ryzen 7 5700X. It ended up being a Ryzen 7 5800X, so that's a good thing. We're getting a better thing. But again, man, I just must be in such a rush here, and I'm missing some of these little things. But the best thing about this whole deal with this one was we didn't get a power supply, but we did get a Ryzen 5 3600. He just threw that in. So we ended up getting 2 CPUs and then the motherboard, 32 gig RAM. And the case is pretty good. Hopefully all these fans light up fine. I only had time to just quickly test the main components, make sure they work. So that one's looking like it's really good. Pretty decent deal. Then we got this X99 board on this old Fractal case. And I'm definitely going to say that this silencer case is required because this fan is quite noisy, but it does bring the noise down. When I checked it in person, they had the side panel on. It wasn't noisy at all. However, I am going to reorient the fan and have the air blowing out that way. It looks like it's just sucking air in there. Like I've tried this hurricane setup in the past. It's horrible. Don't do it. You've got air getting sucked out that way, air sucked in this way. You just have it in a push-pull configuration. It's the classic tried and true method in this case, and it should work better than the hurricane setup they've got going on here. Anyhow, whole system works fine there. I'm just probably going to add in another 2 8GB sticks of memory. And it's actually got a pretty decent power supply, 650 watt FSP. So that should be good to go. Anyhow, we are now at the cusp of looking for more deals. And I've just been looking from top to bottom, and I've found a potential deal. It's an RX 6800 for, I put in an offer of 350 Aussie dollars. And they got back to me and said 400, so I'm trying to wiggle that deal into this parts hunt right here, and hopefully we can get it. So I'm just going to hold the line for a couple of minutes while I work out a few more things and also see if there's some other deals. So we're just going to have like a little break, and then we're going to come back. Because if it's 400, probably for me personally, it's a no-go, but I don't even know. Like, see, RX 6800s, they got 16 gigabytes of RAM, so they're just solid. Like, I got to do a bit more research on this one. So is 400 Aussie dollars good? I'll probably just post up a quick tweet and ask people if they think it's a good deal of that, because my radar's a little bit off. Like 400 seems like it, but 350 seems solid. Like that's a no-brainer, I think. But then 400's like, we're creeping into like, it's a little bit old. You got some other cards that are out there. I don't know. We'll find out with a bit more research. So we've got a bit of an update now, done a bit of research, asked the folks on Twitter, asked the peeps in the Discord, and it's right around 350 to 400 Aussie dollars. People on Twitter think 400 Aussie dollars is pretty decent, which is like 260 US. And then people on Discord are like, well, solid deal would be 350 Aussie dollars. And I always like to get that really good deal. So this one, I'll update you guys in the comments if we manage to get the RX 6800 for 350. I want to get it for 350. I don't know why, but I mean, with AMD cards, if they're not the latest RX 9000 series in Oz, they're a little bit hard to flip in gaming PCs. And that's one thing that the RX 9000 series has done in Australia, is they have kind of cemented themselves as a decent option to video, as opposed to Previously, a lot of people were like, oh man, there's too many this and that, and they were scared to touch them. And now it's sort of evening out a bit with RX 9000. So it's good to see that with AMD and it being now a solid option, but it's kind of sad that like the RX 6000 series is really good value. Like if that just had an NVIDIA name on it, like the RX 6800, if that just had an NVIDIA name on it, it'd be like 500 Aussie dollars at least. So on the used market. So it's kind of one of those things where that NVIDIA tax is coming into the equation. Though looking at the time right now, and it's not even 5:30, and this month has just been so successful. Woke up early, just got into the deals hunting, and it's just been the opposite to last month, which is great. And that's one thing about just used parts. When you go into this market, it does always end up balancing out in favor of positive momentum. And that's what I found out this month was just actually really solid deals all around. The tally so far, the RX 6800 being still contingent, we've got 1,500 Aussie dollars here on the table, which brings it under 1,000 USD, making it just a value-packed parts hunt. And usually we go over 2 days, but I've just been constantly like having to do so much this month, guys. So I will have to close out the parts hunt in terms of the video footage, but I promise you there will be a vlog a little bit later in the month because we've got to build up a heap of PCs, clean up a heap of used cases and parts that we've got in as well from other parts and trade-ins and stuff like that. So we'll make a cool vlog around used PC parts very soon. But in terms of like the studio as well and the house, I'm still just like so much going on there too. I've had to, over the like last weekend, we got an excavator in and we started had to do like emergency trenching because the place was pretty much like this just valley of dirt that had built up over 40 years. And we had dug down like 200 mil of dirt. And then we uncovered the original drain. It was insane. And it's like, no wonder the garage already flooded after a week of me moving in. So we're getting just on top of that, fixing that. The problem was on the weekend, my friend, he's an older guy. He's like 67 years old. He knows how to operate an excavator. The problem was he came down on the weekend. We got the excavator for like 2 hours. We hired it for like the whole weekend. Got it for 2 hours and yeah, he had like this gallstones attack, like crazy attack. Had to take him to the emergency room. Outside of that also, my said friend, he went in for emergency surgery. Sorry, I should have updated you guys on that. And he came out fine. Like he was absolutely fine. So they did a quick work on him. The guys at Rabina Hospital, where I'm locally, fantastic hospital. They worked on him, fixed him up. He's just staying here for a few days recovering. And then he'll be able to drive home after that. Yeah, so it was just a crap turn of events that happened. But just having this excavator, so I tried to use it and I could use it a little bit. And it's just, I didn't want to get near the house because I didn't want to overextend the arm and stuff like that and hit the house. So I did a little bit with the excavator. I just wasn't that comfortable doing a lot, like more work outside of taking it down edges and stuff. With like 0 hours of expertise on the excavator, I could do some basic stuff, but that was it. So it was kind of like, damn, we would have done a lot more. But then I reverted back the next day to the wheelbarrow and shovel, and I started like digging out more trenching and stuff. But either way, the place is pretty flood safe now at least, so that's one thing off my mind. But there's a really good update that's come in the last few days, just all of a sudden, and that is my fiber internet is going to be installed in the next 2 days. So I got to get ready for that in terms of doing all the data cabling to the walls and getting that all finished. And then we'll have some streams, TechYes streams coming up for you guys really soon. So if there's any topics you guys want us to hit up on live streams as well, do let us know in the comment section below and I'll make that happen. As well as hopefully making a more scheduled time allotment for streaming. Say once every 2 weeks, we get a TechYes City live stream going on. But also the soundproofing for the studio, that's like in my city now, should be delivered like tomorrow. So next video you see should have better sound. And then after that, we've got pretty much like some ulterior videos that have been requested, like DDR5 and stuff like that, some tests there. And also we've got, I was going to do, you guys will just get videos. That's what's going to happen in the next few weeks. We got a lot to go on here because we just got crazy flipping season starting up, even though I will update the last part of this parts hunt. I will update with a market update, and that is things are pretty slow. Like for this time of the year, usually things are just starting to go full throttle, but things are really slow. I do remember one Christmas like this where it was really slow up until probably around like the first week of December, and then it just went crazy after that. So I'm hoping it's like that, but yeah, this time around it's very slow for this time of the month. It usually starts picking up around now, but yeah, it's pretty slow, guys. So don't worry if you experience a bit of a slowdown there, then yeah, you're not alone. Now, I've been getting a few messages from people telling me it's slow, but you can't control the market ultimately, but you can offer the best price performance and do all that other stuff like sprucing up the photos and all that good stuff. Anyhow, market economy, we can go further in depth on a live stream. I know that's a big requested topic from you guys, so we'll go more in depth on a live stream, talk about all that stuff. And with that aside as well, requests, all that good stuff, guys, in the comments. And I hope you enjoyed this used PC parts hunt. Very smooth. And it's like, yeah, 5:30. So I'm going to go get 2-for-1 pizzas right now. I'm going to finish off the parts hunt before I get the 2-for-1 pizzas. I've never done that before. That is, man, maybe doing all this like physical work outside is making me fit. And then that's helping me make better content, more passionate, more energetic content for you guys. Peace out for now. Bye.